Hello everyone, it's me Varus, and in this video I'll be giving you a full update on the tropics, this big cold air blast that we have upcoming, and an update on severe threat as I'm watching closely for areas in the Northeast and Midwest for severe threat come later this week. If you do enjoy this video, please consider subscribing, liking, and share with your other friends and family, and let's get right into it. So starting out with the surface map, or not surface map, National Weather Alerts and Indices, pretty quiet in terms of like active weather in the United States, except for the West where we're dealing with heat advisories, red flag warnings, heat warnings, and flood watches all across the entire western coast of the U.S., including portions of Montana, Idaho, Washington, Oregon, Nevada, California, and some dense fog advisories in the banks of Arizona as well. And then when you move further east, just a couple of severe alerts here. Nothing too crazy, just some marginal risks. And so we'll take a look at that in a bit. So, what about that cold blast? And today we're going to go a little lighter on it because, we have been talking about it a lot in the past few videos. So, if we take a look at the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, you see above average temperatures in the west and below average temperatures in the east. Pretty common theme, okay? Mainly because you have a ridge over here in the west, and then eventually that ridge turns into a trough in the east, okay, something like that. And so the heat building in the west, and then cool polar air coming from the north. Now there are a couple exceptions, like southern U.S., extreme southern U.S., with above average temperatures, and then below average right along portions of California and Nevada, as well as portions of extreme western Arizona. So that's the temperature outlook. This goes through September 7th to 11th, so for the first week and into the next week of September. Precipitation-wise, follows a similar theme. In the west, we have above average precipitation. In the east, below average. And then along the southeast, above average. Gotta watch for any tropical threats that may be approaching as we get into peak hurricane season. And mainly because that's what this pattern supports. Again, that big ridge and then that big trough. And West will benefit with some precipitation because it's been record dry over here in the Pacific Northwest, kind of contributing to those red flag warnings and heat advisories and fire advisories you've seen earlier when I showed you the alerts and indices. So what about the severe weather outlook? So there's that marginal threat I was talking about leading to some of those severe thunderstorm warnings. No severe thunderstorm watch in effect, so just very marginal threat. We can go through Tuesday as well, another marginal threat, just the wind and hail threat. And then day 3, another marginal threat. Now, the day I'm watching is, go back, Thursday and a Friday. Okay, I'll show you why. Let's get to the European model, the dynamics. So I already have this ahead to the evening of Wednesday and then getting into Thursday. Let's get a little closer of a look into the north central U.S. So, what we have is, okay, actually let's start outside first. Let's start back out here, okay? So what we have is an upper level trough right here, okay? Pretty strong one, technically, 997 low pressure. This is what's gonna bring our next cold blast, okay? You can even see some 540 lines here, and this could actually bring some flakes to northern Minnesota, so we'll have to watch. And the UP of Michigan, we'll have to watch. It'll be really close. Not sure if we'll get any, but maybe mainly light rain with some snowflakes mixed, we'll see. But anyways, either way, it's going to be really unseasonably colder air coming through, okay? That's right here. You can already see it, okay? The gradient is pretty tight in this area. And with that, we're going to have a retreating moderation. It's still going to be cool in the east, but there's some moderating that obviously usually happens in front of the cold front. So we have a clash of two boundaries. Check, okay? That's the check mark. We have an initiator, the upper level trough, check. And we also have moisture and enough energy because of the clashing and the moisture freed from the Gulf, okay, and that's actually tapping in because of this upper level low, and it's also bringing down it's kind of making its own moisture almost too. So it's something to watch, okay? It's not like the most insane severe threat, but it's definitely a severe threat that we could watch. So you can clearly see that with this line right here. This is what I'm talking about right through here. So if we continue this through from September 8th, so you can see it kind of starts firing off September 3rd, 4th, okay, and then it makes its way into the northeast September 4th, kind of in the afternoon, evening. So I'd say September 3rd, more out here in the Midwest. September 4th, more over here in the Northeast and Appalachian chain. So that's what we're watching right here, and then eventually fizzles out. Maybe a marginal risk for extreme north, like New England and stuff. But that's what we're watching for when it comes to severe weather. So I'll keep you guys updated in the future videos if it does materialize. Now, last thing we're going to look at today are the tropics. Starting out the Atlantic, it's going to become favorable. Right now we're in a really unfavorable MJO phase, Madden-Julian oscillation, which is causing a bunch of sinking air in the main development region of where tropical cyclones usually develop. And sinking air is not favorable for a storm. However, as we continue, we're supposed to get into more favorable phases. Rising air should start in this area right here, mainly like right here. And so that will make it easier for these storms to form. So the first one watching is this little area of interest right here that's generally going to move west-northwest. But we'll have to monitor portions of the northern Leeward Islands, as some model guidance has been getting it pretty close. So let's watch with that. Kind of almost similar to Aaron, but we'll have to see how those implications are down the road, as it's still very, very far. It's definitely going to be a long track system if it does develop. 10% in the next 48 hours and 50% in the next 10 days. Now, in the Pacific, it's also pretty active. We got this one disturbance, high chance of development. We're going to watch this. It could graze areas of California, Mexico. I forgot exactly what this piece of land is called. Let me know if you know in the comments. I think Cabo San Lucas is a town or city near. I don't know, but it could pose some type of threat to land. I mean, like right now, it's hugging right along the Mexican coast, so already probably bringing some outer bands and storms. So we'll have to see if it develops into anything substantial. Kiko as well is pretty interesting tropical storm right now. However, as you can see, let's do the interactive or experimental cone, the interactive version. So this is Kiko right now. And so it's expected to become a hurricane probably by tomorrow, and it's going to continue moving generally west. Now at the end, you do see kind of a northern tick like this. I haven't looked too much into the steering patterns of this. I think most models do keep it south of Hawaii, but if it does start to tick back north, we may need to watch for impact, especially for that the big main island, as Kiko's at least going to make some sort of close pass unless it curves out early enough. We'll have to take a look at that in the coming days. It's generally moving pretty slow, only 7 miles per hour, so we're going to have lots of time to track this into this coming weekend and further on. So let's talk more about this threat in the Atlantic. So this is the European in the next 180 hours, expected to be somewhere in this black box I just drew. Sorry, I'm stuttering like crazy. Somewhere in here at least. Okay, maybe a little out here. And so that's where we're going to watch this storm to be. It could go a little more lower. If that's the case, then could be more direct impacts to the land. Could stay more north and be an easy miss outside, but then could maybe pose a threat for Bermuda, maybe curves out, or maybe does some sort of mix and does some sort of errand and splits the curve if there's an upper level trough that sweeps it out. If the high pressure does become a problem, that's when we'll have to watch for any impacts along the eastern coast or eastern seaboard. So we're going to keep watching that in the next few days. Just for funsies, let's go out 240 hours, see what it shows. And as you can see, pretty widespread. Few members already having this recurve out over here. Sorry, that was a terrible line. Some over here. Some keeping it weak and strong and almost heading due west, while the majority brings it kind of in between in some sort of cone fashion like this. So we'll have to watch if any of these members start to curve out to see, but this definitely looks a little more north than Aaron is. Aaron kind of was a little more south, but this is still far out, so could be completely wrong. So I hope you enjoyed. That was a quick little video. Just want to get everything, the main highlights of the weather going on this week, the main highlights. I'll be back with you guys probably on Wednesday. If I do feel like squeezing out a video tomorrow, I will. And happy Labor Day for all those that celebrate, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.